G'day viewers, I haven't posted a video for a while. This is my work on gravity. I've been doing some experiments and had some pretty good results. Repeated the experiments many times over, same result. Well, a good experiment, you'll always get the same result. Must be repeatable. I think the whole world of physics has got this gravity thing wrong, and I'll show you part of my hypothesis, which is basically a hypothesis is a start of a theory that's supported with experimental evidence. And we'll start by drawing two masses. It could be a planet, it could be a satellite. In this case we'll put two planets there. And current theories try to tell you that these two are pulling towards each other. It's not the case. Some other theories will try and tell you that it's pressure differential and they're pushing each other towards each other. No, that's not the case either. What I've discovered from my experimental evidence, and it's my interpretation of this, so I'll try and put it as simply as possible. And what we've got here is I'll draw it in dotted lines. And all the maths actually, the current satellite and orbital mechanical math actually support this. So we've got these lines like onion shells. Now obviously it's a distance inverse square law thing. So the further out we get, the weaker the interaction, which most people will agree. Now what happens when this field, the mass field, this is what we're talking about. There's no such thing as a gravity field. My interpretation is that there is gravitational force that's generated by the interaction of this mass field, well the two mass fields here, and when they come through, when this one gets right out, I'll just do another one there. When it gets right out here, something very interesting happens. It intersects at 90 degrees to the perpendicular. So if it, and this is exactly like electrical theory, your magnetic fields interact in a conductor and generate an electrical motive force, EMF. The MMF, magnetomotive force, generates an EMF at 90 degrees. Now what I'm saying here is that this mass field intersects the second object, be it satellite, planet, star, whatever, and it generates a gravitational force in that direction. 90 degrees. Same here, same as the little field comes out here, blah blah blah, and it strikes there, and it forces that way. Now, the smallest force is generated by the smallest object, and that is reciprocated by the larger object, generating the exact mirror image force, which it only can, because that's the only interaction, is the mass differential. Now, this is very simple, but it explains, well, it does away with time dilation, which, yeah, it might be real. So you could Doppler shift positions of the satellite moving in relation to the receiver. If it's moving away from the receiver, the frequency decreases. If it moves towards the receiver, the frequency increases. That's just natural mathematics. But this is my take on it. I really don't know how I can explain what I've done without giving it away, but I built this machine and it actually decelerates the attraction. It's not anti-gravity. I know everyone's going to say, oh, it's anti-gravity. There's no such thing as anti-gravity. You either have a gravitational field and you're vectoring the field to suit your own objectives. Now normally these two would be attracted to each other unless they're orbiting each other in a balanced orbit, whether it's circular or elliptical or doesn't matter. So it's the motion. Now I'll show you something really important. The most important thing that I've learned out of this is delta T. That's not a very good delta, is it? No. So let's do that there. Delta T. The change over time. Change over time. Not time dilation, not time variation, but the change over time. And this conforms to, it actually fits in addition to Newton's original work. He said he didn't know what causes gravity. He freely admitted that, but he showed all the calculus and the formulas to describe the motion of the objects, and I believe he was 100% correct. And had they done a few, well, they didn't have the technology to do the experiments, like I've been fortunate to have a lot of equipment to be able to test these things. I can actually slow the rate of descent with a very simple machine. I can slow the rate of descent, not using propellers. I could put it in a round object like this and test it, which would be, I suppose, wouldn't be too much interference with the wind resistance. But if it's heavy enough, wind resistance is negligible. I'm talking about really slowing the rate of descent. Now, where I get off saying all this sort of stuff is I actually generated and can at will generate what you would call anti-gravity impulses. Like I said, I don't believe that anti-gravity exists, and I'll explain it. Say you've got a bit of rope and that rope's falling and you're climbing up the rope. For you to not hit the ground, you've got to climb that rope faster than the rope is falling. I hope you get the gist of what I'm saying. But I'm pretty excited. I used to think this whole Mars thing, I thought, no, it's just going to be too hard for them to get to Mars. Now I'm sort of I'm picturing like 1,000 or even 10,000 ton freighters going between here and Mars. And if you want to do the math, it should only take us 4 days to get there. A day to accelerate at 1g. I think there's actually 0.98 something g for a day, and then we got a cruising velocity of 3 million kilometres an hour, and then a couple of days cruising, depending on the relative position of Mars, of course, and then a day deaccelerating at 1g. And it's important that we don't exceed this 1g, or otherwise people are going to suffer very adverse side effects from space travel, the physical side effects. And I'd like to see, I've done a lot of study in this area, and one of the smartest men around was Wernher von Braun, And he had a brilliant idea of a rotating space station. It was huge. I think it was about 100 metres across or 200 metres across. It was pretty big. And he was going to create artificial gravity by harnessing what you think centrifugal force is. See, here's another thing. We look at one and we give it a name, and that force doesn't really exist. It's centripetal or centripetal, as some people pronounce it, in your little rotating space stations. But what I've discovered is really, it's just blown me away. I've seen some pretty amazing things in my life. I've seen big giant cables as fat as your leg. I've seen them jump around due to the magnetic fields, and cables weighing tons just jumping like they're nothing, just reacting to the magnetic startup current. This machine I've built, it could be quite easily expanded. I think we're on the verge of a new frontier here. I will be building a larger model and encasing it, so obviously I've got to protect my intellectual property and not disclose the internal composition of the machine. But this is what this machine has led me to believe, that there's no such thing as a gravitational field until we get two objects interact with each other. This mass field, that's what surrounds all objects in space, and it's only when the two objects come within a certain distance of each other, you get tangible effects. Now people say, oh yeah, but you can feel the gravitational field of the sun on the Earth. Of course you can. Well, what about when you go into interstellar space between our solar system and a neighbouring solar system in this galaxy? Who's to say that gravitational field's going to be of any effect out there? I don't think so. I think it's going to be negligible. It'd be like, what can I compare it to? It'd be like a fly buzzing at 500 metres. You're not going to hear that fly at 500 metres, but you're certainly going to hear it if it's right next to your ear. But anyway, that's my hypothesis. I don't expect you to believe it. I don't expect you to, well, everyone's entitled to their own opinions, but these are the results of actual practical experiments. And trust me, I've repeated these experiments many, many times to get the same results. And not once did I get any discouraging results. I've created gravitational impulses where I can make things jump, or I can make them hit the dirt with a lot more energy than they normally have by falling. I've got evidence to suggest that these mass field shells exist simply by the nature of the motion of the machine I built. So we're in the 21st century, we're in the supposedly roaring 20s. I sincerely believe I've got a gravitational drive system, and I've given it a nickname. I call it my boomerang motor, or boomerang drive system, take your pick. I'm very happy with my results, and just to give you some background, it was over 40 years ago I proposed growing diamonds in a magnetic field, electromagnetic field, and people said I was crazy. It took me over 10 years to prove that with X-ray diffraction results that prove unequivocally that I made diamond, and then to even go further, we made a substance, a mineral called Lonsdaleite, which is a higher form of diamond that's 58% harder than normal diamond. We made that. We've still got the machine. In the early 80s, I came up independently to Nikola Tesla. Without realising it, I actually built his turbine, and then somebody said, oh no, Nikola Tesla did that. So I got right into Tesla, and I read all his books and studied the man, and he was brilliant, brilliant engineer. He started off as an electrician also. I've got a lot of time for Nikola Tesla. Some people sort of over-worship him. He did achieve a lot, just like Albert Einstein. I think another brilliant man. I think he did a lot of good, but you know, maybe he didn't get it all right. Maybe he made a little mistake here and there, and people are so involved in worshipping him that they're not going to want to look at the evidence. Well, I got the evidence here. This thing is, compared to normal human speeds, this thing is able to drive spaceships at, I'd say, easily 3 to 5 million kilometres an hour. So if you want to get to Mars quick, this is what you need. You need the drive system that gave me these experimental results. That's all I got to say. I will be putting up a video of the machine in action in the future. I just want to see what people think. So I expect there to be a lot of knuckle bones trying to knock it, or you know, trying to bloody rubbish it or whatever. Try your hardest, because I've actually got physical proof, and you cannot beat physical proof in an experiment, especially when you repeat the experiment time and time and time again. I've been doing this experiment on and off for probably 2 years now, and it's just in the last couple of years, well, the last couple of months really, that I've I think it was about 6 months ago, I told a mate, Peter, that, you know, I've got a gravitational impulse, and he didn't knock me. He said, no, try it again, keep going, keep trying. So I did, and now I believe that if we can get this wobbly thing working, to put out continuous gravitational energy in a vectorable configuration, this is the way to go to, not just to Mars. I don't want to go to Mars. I want to go past. I want to go to the asteroid belt. That's where I want to go. That you want to see where the riches lay. Go to the asteroid belt. That's where the money is. You want to go to Mars? That's a good stopover. Stop off at whatever facilities are at Mars, and then you go further to the asteroid belt, do your mining, and come back. Talk about energy efficiency. This thing runs on electricity, and obviously you've got to supply the electricity. It's not much. Wouldn't take much. Obviously, you do the math, you see a few megawatts of energy would run this thing in a scalable drive system for a large spaceship. But if you've seen that Avengers thing with the big giant flying aircraft carrier, yeah, that's what I see. I see that sort of thing in the future. So anyway, that's me for now. I'll keep you posted. If you're interested, give us a thumbs up. Tell your mates. I'm either full on crazy or I might be really onto something. And I prefer it to be the latter, not the former. I really think I'm onto something. I've got several successful inventions that I've created. Now, I've had a few stolen. I've had my kudos stolen. Worse than getting your IP stolen is when people steal your kudos, and they say, oh, look what I did. And you know damn well they come to your house, they're looking over your right shoulder, exactly what you did, and the next thing they're on TV. And you know who I'm talking about. You came to my house, you stole my idea, you went on television, you told people how bloody good you were, and have you done anything since then? Nothing. Because you bloody stole me kudos, mate. That's the worst thing ever. Steal somebody's credibility and just crap on them. Anyway, that's my little whinge for now. But that's my updated theory of mass fields causing gravitational effects. No such thing as getting pulled together or pushed together from behind. There's your 90-degree line right there, like an induction, it is like an electric current and a voltage. That's all it is. But it's not electromagnetic. It is mass. It's a mass field, and the product of the two mass fields, or it might even be four mass fields. This is what I've still got to determine. There could be two fields per object in space. This could have two fields, and this could have two fields. And the colours I ascribe to these are green and orange. Yeah, magnetic's already got red and blue. Sometimes voltage has got red and black. This is green and orange. So I'll leave that with you, and have you think about it. And when it clicks, you could give us a call, see what we can do. Anyway, that's it for now. Hope this year turns out better for everyone. This year almost broke me, I tell you. So this coming year, the one we're in now, I hope it's all good for everyone. Alright, cheers, talk to you later.